Hello boys and girls, and welcome to my player ratings for last night's defeat to Liverpool at Anfield. Familiar story in terms of the result, but not so much with the performance. Now, Liverpool deserved the win. They were very, very dominant. They were very, very good. But in terms of the way that Arsenal dug in terms of the way that Arsenal never made it easy for Liverpool at times, I can look at that and say, you know what, there is a sense of progression. Now, Liverpool are 5 years into, their chapter and what they're doing under Jurgen Klopp. So they are a million miles ahead. We already know that. They are the best team in the Premier League. Along with Bayern Munich, they are the best team in Europe. We are less than a year into what we're trying to do with Mikel Arteta. Ultimately, we want to get to where Liverpool are. In the first 9-10 months or so under Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool were not what they are now. You've got to look at the two and try not to compare, because we're both in different cycles, we're both at different stages, and we know where we want to be. But what I'm saying is that we still showed fight. We were resolute. And with a bit of luck as well, we could have maybe nicked something. Not that we would have deserved it, but at 2-1 when Lacazette goes through and he misses that chance, that goes in. It's a completely different game. And yeah, like I was saying, it might have, not been a true reflection on the game. But football's a funny thing. And sometimes you don't get the results that you deserve. But it's one of them ones. I'm just looking at it and I'm just thinking to myself that we put up fight. We never crumbled like we did. You can see the structure is there. But the issue ultimately is the personnel. There's still players there that Mikel Arteta has taken as far as he possibly can. He now needs reinforcements. He now needs the players that he wants. I do think we now need to shift out of this 3-4-3 formation. We now need to go into what Mikel Arteta wants. And the only way he can do that is by getting the players that he wants and needs, so he can implement a system that works for us. So yeah, it's one of those ones. I'm not too downbeat about it. I never like to see us lose. And it's never easy. But when you weigh it up, when you look at the context behind it, Liverpool are where they are. And we're where we are. We know where we've got to be. And that's what I'm trying to say. And so, yeah, I'll take positives from it. I'm not going to stop moaning about the referee's performance because it was absolutely dreadful. You're not going to change my mind on some of those decisions that he made. Most notably the Mane situation. It's a red card. I'm sorry, it's a red. And that would have probably changed the game and the balance of it, because Liverpool would have to play with 10 men for 87 minutes. So, yeah, that did have a big effect. But after that, Liverpool, the better side. A million miles. We already know that. And I'm not denying it. But I'm going to look at Arsenal in particular and take some positives. But it is what it is. So with that said, let's go and get into the player ratings. Starting off in goal, Leno. And I'm seeing a lot of people already questioning Leno. And this is going to be the thing now. Oh, but Leno's done this and Martinez does that. I think a lot of people are quick to forget, only a few hours earlier in the Aston Villa Fulham game, Emi Martinez actually made a horrendous error and only VAR saved him. So all of this constant barracking and, comparisons by Arsenal fans is just pathetic. All right, we've got one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. All right, it's not fault for the goals. Maybe he could have called the third one and demanded that, but David Luiz took control and it was a poor header. But he didn't have a chance with the others. The first goal was a good shot. It was difficult. Could he have parried it anywhere else? I don't know. You know, and everyone talks about his distribution and everything. The goalkeeper's not the one who should set the tempo for the balance of the play. So, look, it was straight down the middle for me. Conceded 3 goals, but he's not at fault for them. But I'll give him a 5 because, you know, it was a difficult evening. But I think it was a difficult evening for a lot of people, to be honest with you. Now we're going to go with the back 3. First of all, Rob Holding. I felt this was a really poor performance. I think in terms of getting completely spun by Mane, it didn't happen a lot. But he was getting caught on the ball. He looked shaky. There were times where he, you know, gave the ball back to Liverpool. The turnover was too quick and it was putting us under pressure. And it just was not a great performance all round. And Rob Holding gets a 4. Next up, we have David Luiz. And bar that header at the end, which kind of gifted the 3rd goal because it was just a poor headed clearance, his overall performance wasn't bad. I don't think he actually had a bad game. And it was a very busy night for our backline. But David Luiz, I'll give him a 6 for that performance. Next up, we have Kieran Tierney. And one of his more quieter nights, shall we say. Got the wrong side of Salah for the equalising goal. He knows that. But I can count on one hand, you know, the times that Kieran Tierney's been caught out. Because it's that rare. So it happens in football. Every player in any position does something where they get caught out. You know, it's happened recently to Van Dijk. He's the best defender in world football. So you've got to look at it objectively as well. And that's what I'm trying to say. So Tierney, I'll give him a 6 for last night. We're going to go to the wing backs. First of all, on the right hand side, Hector Bellerin, absolutely dreadful. The fact that this guy had 2 foul throws and then he had the cheek to question one of them and say that's what he's been doing his whole life. If you've been doing that your whole life, then you've been doing foul throws, haven't you? 2 foul throws. Are you actually mad? His overall play was poor, positioning, attacking, it's sideways. It was just horrible. 3. Next up, we have Ainsley Maitland-Niles. And again, I don't think it was a great performance, to be honest with you. I don't think he really offered us much going in the attacking third. People will say that he set up our first goal. Let's get it right. It was a dreadful pass. Okay, and it needed Robinson to make an awful error for Lacazette to score. So, not a great performance for me. He gets a 4. In the centre of midfield, first of all, Granit Xhaka. Difficult evening. Tried, works hard. But again, difficult evening. And that pivot with El Neni obviously never worked. And we need ball carriers in that midfield. We need somebody in front that's going to be able to do the work that people like Granit Xhaka can't do. They do a certain job, and then we need players that can do another part of the job. But Granit, I'll give him a 5 for his performance. Wasn't great, but wasn't the worst. Next up, we have Mohamed El Neni. And I felt he came more to life once Ceballos came on, and he was the one that actually stayed on the pitch instead of Granit Xhaka. And before that, I just felt that the balance with those two just wasn't working. They were too defensive minded and there was no ball carrier, no creativity. So it wasn't really working. But like I said, once Ceballos come on, he came to life. And I think he could be a good squad player. Let's, make this right. He's not first choice for Arsenal. If he's going to stay, he's somebody that you can have in the squad. Somebody that you could bring off the bench maybe if you need to see a game out or play in the FA Cup, Europa League, Carabao, etc, etc. But I'll give him a 6 for his performance last night. Next up, we have Willian, and that was a very, very ineffective performance and not great at all. And I cannot say much more than that, to be honest with you. He gets a 4 as well. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, very, very, very quiet evening. Now, first and foremost, the ball was never going out to him. We never utilised that left-hand side in any way, shape or form. And one of the reasons why he couldn't get into the game was because we didn't have a ball carrier and somebody that can actually, you know, bring him into play. Liverpool obviously knew how much of a danger he was. It wasn't so much the fact that Trent had a dominant game against him. It's about the fact that he never had the ball to do anything at all. But it was just not a great performance. And for that, I'm going to give Aubameyang a 4 as well, because that was just not great. Next up, we have Alexandre Lacazette, and scored a goal, 3-3. Hold-up play was good. Tireless work. But you have to score that chance. You have to score it, Lacazette. He knows it. You see him sat on the bench with his shirt over his head. He knows it. All right. And I've seen some of the abuse that he's been getting on social media. And it's all right to criticise a player. It's all right to say if they play poor or you think that they missed a chance or whatever it is. Lacazette himself, when speaking to Robbie in Dubai, even said he doesn't mind the criticism. He doesn't mind, you know, us talking about him playing poorly or he does something wrong. That's part of football and they take that on board. They take the criticism. But some that I've seen, the threats and everything else, you ain't Arsenal fans. There's a difference between making death threats and giving someone criticism about a miss. Really, don't even get me started. But Lacazette, take that incident away. Overall, he had a good game. I'll give him a 6 for his performance. Next up, we have the substitutes, Dani Ceballos, and I think he changed the game when he came on, to be honest with you. And I'm not even joking when I say he's probably our man of the match. The fact that he was on the pitch for only 20 minutes, yet he made such a difference. I'll give Ceballos a 7. He had 20 minutes, but I felt his performance, yeah, definitely changed the game. Big time. But yeah, just over 20, 25 minutes or so he came on. Got a yellow card as well. Not even going to talk about it. Next substitute, we have Nicola Pepe, and that was just a poor performance. And again, I think this is a player that's playing out wide, that's really finding it difficult to get into the game when you haven't got a ball carrier and people that bring them into play. And if you watch Nicola Pepe and the way that he plays, and especially before he came to Arsenal, that's what he relies on. So if we can go and get certain transfers done in the window, then yeah, it will certainly bring players like him to life. But that was not a great performance, and he's going to get a 4 as well, because that was just dreadful. Eddie Nketiah on for 15 minutes or so. I suppose his work rate was decent. He did try, but never really got into the game. So I can't give more than the standard down the middle 5, and that's because he only had around 15 minutes. So it's not more to do with his performance, but he just wasn't really involved. Manager's rating, Mikel Arteta, and I think in terms of this, you've kind of got to ask about some of the personnel, in particular Gabriel. I understand why he didn't unbalance the back three by playing 2 left-footed players there, but I don't see why Gabriel didn't start in that back three and Tierney went out wide as a left wing back. That's the kind of decision where you've got to look at and question, especially when Gabriel's been so good over the past few weeks. You're also looking at the William Saliba situation, and I understand they want to bed him in, you know, gradually. He's 18 years old, but could he do a better job than Rob Holding on the right of the three? I think so. So yeah, I just felt that in terms of the selection and certain aspects of the game, he got wrong, or I'd say learned from it. But you could tell structurally what he's doing and the way we're progressing as a team. But Mikel Arteta, he gets a 5. I'll go straight down the middle because we fought, and it's very clear and evident that the players are playing for the manager. But I just felt there was a couple of things where I'm kind of like, I don't really understand that. But it is what it is. We live and we learn. So there we go. That is it for the player ratings. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you think about the player ratings. As usual, if you disagree What player do you disagree with? Would you give them higher ratings than I have, or would you give them even lower ratings than I have? Let me know in the comment section. So listen, it's a very quick turnaround until we are back at Liverpool. Of course, tomorrow you can expect the usual DTs daily, and then in the evening there will be a preview to that Liverpool game, Carabao Cup. It's going to be a completely different side, isn't it? So we'll wait and see whether it be a completely different result. Yeah, we'll wait and see. So if you're new around here, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video, and I will see you lot soon. I'm out of here.